AFC Power Rankings on deck here for y'all today. Training camp's getting kicked off around the league. It's an exciting time of year, one step closer to the 2024 NFL regular season. We're going to get kicked off here at number 16 in the AFC with the Las Vegas Raiders. Are they a horrible football team? Absolutely not. I think that there is plenty of talent across this roster. You've got some good leadership, some good coaching, but I don't believe in the plan on offense with Luke Getsy and Gardner Minshew. Offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, quarterback Gardner Minshew. That is not a recipe for success, in my opinion. At 15, it all hinges on Will Levis with the Tennessee Titans. This is a football team that has a lot of talent surrounding Will Levis, but I still have question marks about the offensive line. I know Bill Callahan will probably get the most out of those guys, but you're going to have a rookie starting at left tackle, 2 question marks on the right side of that offensive line at right guard and right tackle. So I think the Titans, while they really pushed in terms of their skill positions, they went out and got 2 starting cornerbacks. They have Jeffrey Simmons. They have good safeties. I just don't really see it happening for Will Levis in year 2, who has a long way to go from an operational standpoint at quarterback, in my opinion. At 14, I like the direction of the Denver Broncos. Still just think they're a year or 2 away from really pushing. I think Bo Nix is a perfect fit for a Sean Payton offense. This is a guy that can be accurate with the football, can keep it on time, throw with anticipation. When plays break down, he can use his athleticism to create, both running around and throwing off platform. This is a real playmaker at the quarterback position, a guy that I think was underrated in the 2024 NFL draft cycle by a lot of people. At number 13, Drake May, the New England Patriots. I think this is going to be a really fun team to watch. I still have questions about the offensive line. I think the defense is going to be super competitive again this year, with Gerard Mayo taking over as the head coach. Obviously, Bill Belichick not there anymore. I still think they're going to keep that defensive identity. I think the offense is going to be plucky. I think they're going to have games where they really are difficult for defenses to deal with Drake May, some of the young offensive talent that they have added there, but overall, they still have a ways to go from a roster construction standpoint. At number 12, the Los Angeles Chargers. This is a football team that I think they're also going to be very competitive. I think the whole AFC is going to be competitive. It's a much better conference than the NFC from top to bottom here. But the Los Angeles Chargers, with Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, the offensive line that they have and the running backs that they've brought in throughout the offseason, I think that the Chargers are going to be able to run the football. I think they're going to be able to utilize play action and be a competitive team. I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think that they're going to really push this year, but they are going to look like a team that has an identity, that has the head coach and the quarterback to feel confident in moving forward. At number 11, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Putting them this low usually is a mistake, quite frankly. That's just how it goes. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're never a team that's outside of the playoff picture. They are right there every single year with a winning record, but I still don't see them being better than the rest of the teams on this list, right? You have Russell Wilson coming in. Yes, he can run around. You have Arthur Smith coming in as the offensive coordinator. George Pickens. I do love Roman Wilson, who they picked up. I love the offensive line moves that they made. They're going to have an incredibly competitive defense, but it's a tough conference. And I think with their questions at quarterback, it's hard to put them much higher. At number 10, their division rivals, the Cleveland Browns. This is one of the best rosters in football, top to bottom. I don't believe in Deshaun Watson. I think they have very good coaching. I think they have an incredible roster. I don't believe in the quarterback, bottom line. At number 9, Miami Dolphins. This is a football team that's dealt with injuries. They're still dealing with injuries. Shaquille Barrett just retired. They're having to pivot and bring in Emmanuel Ogbah because their starting edge guys are still not healthy. They've got a lot going on. Tua Tagovailoa contract. Tyreek Hill wants a new contract. They're a team that has dominated early on in seasons the last couple years, that has faded down the stretch. So it's hard for me to feel confident in them going into December and January in 2024, right? 2024, December, 2025, January. At number 8, I have the Indianapolis Colts. This is a very, very good football team. From a roster standpoint, I think they're solid throughout. Anthony Richardson needs to prove that he can be the guy. We saw glimpses of it last year before the injury. I think Shane Steichen will get the most out of him. They have a really solid offensive line. Jonathan Taylor in the backfield with Anthony Richardson is going to make it a really dangerous running game. I think they have the receiving talent. Defensively, really impressive defensive line. I think that they're going to be able to create pressure. I love their linebackers. I think cornerback is still a big question for the Indianapolis Colts. At 7, I have the Jets. Look, the Jets, if it goes well, they could end up being number 2 or number 3 on this list in short order, because they have a lot of talent. They have Aaron Rodgers. If he's healthy, throwing the football to Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, etc., that's going to be a difficult team to deal with. At number 6, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, my hometown team, the team I cover. The Jaguars have a roster that really doesn't have holes in it. Like, you look to any position group on this football team, there is talent. They have the head coach in Doug Peterson. They have Trevor Lawrence. I think when you have seen this football team healthy over the last 2 years, they've been about as difficult to beat as anyone in the league, not named the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to surprise a lot of teams. I think they're going to make the playoffs again in 2024 after missing out in 2023. At number 5, I have the Buffalo Bills. They've got a lot to figure out with all the veteran departures that they had this past offseason, but they still have Josh Allen. They added a lot of talent. They're a team that is well coached on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. They have maybe the biggest elevator of anyone at quarterback outside of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, so I think they're going to be a football team that is very difficult to deal with. I think the Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East once again. At number 4, I do have the Houston Texans as a very well-coached team from top to bottom. D'Amico Ryans, Bobby Slowick. They've got CJ Stroud, who was a revelation in year 1. They've got a ton of talent at wide receiver, bringing in Stephon Diggs. Love the offensive line, running back group. The defense is loaded as well. I think that there's some folks out there that kind of question their plan at cornerback. I think Kamari Lassiter playing opposite Derek Stingley is going to be just fine. I like their safeties. I like their linebackers bringing in Azeez Al-Shaair, who D'Amico Ryans has experience with. That linebacker, I think, is going to be excellent. The Texans are just a complete team, top to bottom. They're going to be a very tough out in year 2 of the D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud experience. At number 3, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Look, I believe in Joe Burrow about as much as any quarterback in the league when he's healthy. I think that Lou Anarumo has the pieces to get the job done on defense again. Von Bell returning to Cincinnati, one of the most underrated moves of the offseason. They also added Geno Stone, who can be that free safety type that really knows how to get his hands on the football. And I think they're going to have some development from some of their younger guys that haven't really hit yet from the NFL draft. But I think the Cincinnati Bengals, as long as Joe Burrow is healthy, they're going to be one of the most difficult teams to beat in the NFL in 2024. They have Joe Burrow. They have an improved offensive line. Still not a great offensive line, but an improved offensive line. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That is tough to deal with. That is a unbelievable trio at quarterback and wide receiver. At number 2, Baltimore Ravens. I think that, Lamar Jackson getting some of his guys back, Mark Andrews, obviously Zay Flowers going into year 2. This is going to be a really good football team. Well coached on both sides of the ball. I know they lost their defensive coordinator. They lost a ton of defensive assistants. They're still going to be getting it popping on that side of the ball with Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith. They have no shortage of talent up front on the defensive line as well. So I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to be just fine despite some of the losses that they had in the offseason. And look, Derrick Henry in Baltimore is a match made in heaven. I cannot wait to see Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on the football field together. Can't wait to see it. That leaves the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1 overall. I think the Chiefs, despite losing L'Jarius Sneed, which is a big loss, let's not understate that. It is a big loss. But despite losing him, I think that they will have somebody that's able to step up and play good cornerback on the outside. They've been adding a lot of guys throughout the last couple of years. I think that Steve Spagnuolo, a legendary defensive coordinator, Andy Reid, a legendary head coach, Patrick Mahomes, the greatest quarterback in the league, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback of all time, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, and this is a big and. You add Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy to that offense, you now have the return of speed and talented speed to the Kansas City Chiefs offense. They have not had this type of talent with this type of speed on offense since Tyreek Hill left. And no, neither of Hollywood Brown or Xavier Worthy is Tyreek Hill. But these are the most talented speedsters that they have had since Tyreek Hill left by a wide margin, right? These guys can both play at an extremely high level. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a really good time throwing the football to them. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs offense might go scorched earth on the NFL in 2024. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good one.